Hey Scorpio, welcome to Larisa Lili Temperance. Dear God, ooh. This is for anyone, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus in the sign of Scorpio. And as always, they generate, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Oh my God, I shuffled these cards and in the bottom it says very soon. And it's because it says clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. Okay, Scorpio, release this X. This is what this reading's about, okay? So what I got from the energies during meditation, Scorpio, is there's a really big decision you need to make. So either you guys are going to release this person or you're going to move forward. This is major eclipse happening right now, and it's near your sign. We had the other eclipse on Scorpio, so you guys do these resurrections better than anyone, and you already know what to do when it comes to these energies and these shifts of big decisions you have to make. I think you need to really question this loyalty you have to yourself versus this other person, because when you guys love hard, you know, you're very loyal to your person. So I feel it challenging emotionally for a lot of you to come to whatever conclusion you need to come to. Now, I had this response last week. It was a tough reading last week, I believe, or maybe it was the week before, of love as well. And someone didn't like my reading, said it was too negative. I don't give negative readings. I give what Spirit tells me to give. So if it comes across as negative, that means that's important for someone to transition a time in their life that they need to transition. If anything, Spirit wants to help those people a lot more, right? Because what Spirit wants is the good for everyone. And so as a light worker, we're going to help those to transmute those energies quicker. So sometimes we as light workers and readers dive deep in darkness to be able to help you see the light. And so if it was negative to you, then you're just not in that frequency. This was not a reading to watch. But I highly doubt that, because so what just fell out was heart-to-heart conversation, children, and worth waiting for. I'm going to put these back because I'm not ready. But I highly doubt, because to me, if you click on a title, that's because you were called to it. And that's just how the cosmos. So there's a message in there for everyone. There's a message in each reading for everyone if you sit with a reading. If it doesn't resonate, just doesn't resonate. But you sat through something. And if anything, send love to those who are going through it. That's how karma works. We're supposed to support each other. So anyways, it was interesting because this person that said I should have shelved that reading and never posted it. Oh God. Yeah. Okay. I think some of you already know what this fellow Scorpio meant. So let's get into it. One more, Spirit, for this energy. Ooh, what needed passion wanted to show up. Okay. And there goes children again. So see, Spirit doesn't make mistakes here. It was 3331 I pointed. This is why I say I have to give the readings the way they do. And again, Spirit shows us release the X. So as you can see, you guys, I don't make this up. And there goes the heart-to-heart conversation. So what I'm feeling is a lot of you, this X, this past relationship, we have forgiving and learning. There's a lot of lessons coming out of this. This is where we need to take accountability of what's happening, what's taking place, how we contributed. A lot of people like to point the fingers on the other person. You know, at the end of the day, we all have things we go through. I'm not saying this ex is the perfect person. What I'm saying is, for those of you who have children, at one point we thought they were amazing people to have children with, right? So the accountability here is that we have to take ownership of who we allow in our lives, and then think we can have offsprings with and, you know, produce or whatever. In this case, some of you may not have children with this person and they just have children from another relationship. But there's a lot that you're learning about that maybe they have a difficult way of coping with their own trauma, right? So this is where you're also learning to forgive for some of you. So it's a choice. So if it's something you can't put up with and you don't care about their trauma and you don't want to hear about it, and then all it does is disrupt your own energy, then that's also accountability, Scorpio, that we have to take for ourselves and say, you know what, this is not something I want to deal with in my life, right? So here we have it, safe for you to love, and this could be the one. And I feel this is a question actually, I'm feeling with the safeness is the challenge that this person has. So this person goes in a space of abandonment with themselves. So they have victimhood mindset, or they constantly victim. And it would put them in this position because if they have children, and for some of you, this is childhood wounds. Maybe they've been abandoned, but there's this need for safeness. And of course, the struggle is this the one, right, Scorpio? Because this is what I'm saying. A lot of you have to make a very big decision. That's why we had the very soon card of the decision that needs to be made here of what you're going to do. You know, are you going to continue to pursue this person, or are we finally going to find some peace with it and return, right? You know, whatever you feel is necessary. Right, so what is the main spread? Let's get into this main spread, Spirit. Okay, Spirit, that's what I feel. Firm foundation, 4 of Pentacles. So I think this is a time of really kind of stabilizing yourself. We have victory and success, which is 6 of Wands. I think there's a need to harmonize yourself, your spirit. There will be progression. So whatever decision you're going to make, I know, Scorpio, you're going to own it, right? And then here we are, third eye. This is the mirror. And we have 9 of Cups, fulfillment of wishes. This is your wishes. So whatever you do is going to reflect. This third eye for me always is a mirror. So whatever you do is going to reflect what you wish for, what your desires are. And I feel you're kind of harmonizing that energy because we have 2 6s, which means harmonization. Also, 6 represents the lovers, right? So it represents the relationship, right? The possibility of this really being your person, but also represents a decision that needs to be made. So 4 of Swords, you guys are right at a distance and not really talking to each other probably, or just really kind of at bay right now because for some of you, Mercury retrograde really had communication at standstill. Maybe things weren't really effective in terms of the way you guys were ready to communicate. Then we have here rejoice and celebration. This is reconciliation for a lot of you. And for a lot of you, this is seriously a conversation that you guys might kind of just gather, get together, reconnect somehow, maybe go out to dinner and have a talk. And then here we have Empress energy. And a lot of you, this represents this obviously the mother of your child or the father of your child. For some of you, this could also be a surrounding where it's your person dealing with a baby mama, baby daddy, ex-wife, ex-husband, right? So there will be some resolution in this area when it comes to children. But also this is knowing what you're wishing for, right? So this is right, Empress is right under fulfillment of wishes. And this is kind of, I feel some of you are very empathic and are going to be willing to hear this person out because your heart space wants to really forgive and wants to come to some level of understanding because the Empress is the one, right? Also represents the one. So let's see this victory and success. Why the 6 of Wands here? So obviously from the conflict, so we have progression, 5 of Wands and the Sun. So there's progression, right? To kind of harmonize, I guess, the conflict. Now you guys are in a, maybe separately in this rest because it's below the separation, right? The 6 of Wands. So you've had time to think and now there's a different outlook. And, you know, there's some healing energy that's coming through with the Sun to be able to have a better conversation. That's why there's this heart-to-heart conversation for some of you, where you're kind of going to talk about the events that took place in a more calmer way. For some of you, those of you who are with, it's your children for the sake of the children. You just kind of want to find peace. So like that, you can move on to someone else, you know, just, it's about either way, you're going to co-parent. For those who are going to co-parent, you're going to co-parent. And guess what? I think people forget that when you separate for someone, that means other influences on both ends are going to influence the children. So, you know, both of you are going to find new partners, and that will be a new influence. But sometimes that triggers other emotions of what happened within the connection. And I always call that like a different stage of grief for the relationship, where the two people who hate each other or just kind of said we don't belong together, now all of a sudden have a different grief of having to accept them moving on, where other partners involved. And a lot of it comes from ego, and the ego doesn't have, right? Because the problem is when you leave someone, it's because there's something really terrible about this person that no one should tolerate. So if you couldn't tolerate, then no one should tolerate. And so to be able to see this person in a happy place with someone else and accepting their ways is really a reflection of ourselves, right? Because then now we're questioning like, well, what of me that couldn't handle this person, but yet this other, and it was 11/11 when I said that, but what is it, why can this person be happy with them? So it's really about, what it really comes down to is ego. You know, ego gets involved and creates this mess, which has nothing to do with the children. So it's sad but true. See it all the time. I know way too many stories, and it always ends the same. So let's see this third eye for you, Scorpio. So truth, yeah, Knight of Wands, Knight of Cups, and Ace of Swords. So the truth of moving on, a lot of you are definitely dating. A lot of you are dating, and so like I said, this could be triggering your ex in terms of the new path you're undergoing. They may see you in a different light. But for those of you who are here to get back together, because it's an Ace of Swords, to actually where this new beginning has to do with a tough time going back to this person. I think this is understanding the contribution, because we don't have kings here. The mirror here is two knights. And that just, to me, says the playing small, right? So there's a new cycle here. So we have to decide what we really want, whether we want to repeat this cycle, the world, or end the cycle. And this shows how we were mirroring each other on a knight level and not on a king or queen level, you know, on a stronger level where our emotions are expressed. It's very flighty. Horses, the knights are on horses. So the one is a Knight of Wands, which has fire energy, and then the other one's emotional, which has water energy. And so communication just doesn't really, you know, there's a conflict in how effective we're understanding our emotions and what we're trying to communicate here, which I feel has a lot to do with this forgiving and learning and understanding the past. It seems like there's a response reaction according to the past here, which is why the third eye is here. So you have to decide, again, Nine of Cups, I feel here. Emotionally, where are you emotionally? I feel a lot of you are rising above this. Give me more of this Nine of Cups. Yeah, a lot of you are rising above this and seeing things from a different perspective. The Hangman, you have the Strength and the Eight of Cups. So you're willing to walk away and not have to, you know, it's just, for some of you, it's okay to admit that this is just something I can't do, right? You know, for those of you who it's your ex who has a lot of troubled emotions, you're just choosing you. And you're saying, these are my standards, and I understand it's almost empathic, for I really feel an energy of empathy here. But you're also prioritizing yourself in this sense. Now, some of you are going to be willing to give the conversation. I do feel that the conversation will still happen with this Three of Cups here. So Four of Pentacles is, I feel undecided, more like I don't know, I still don't know. And maybe the conversation is what's going to lead to the knowing of what's the next stage for this relationship. However it pans out. Again, if this is your ex, you guys know I can't like give all the variations, but if this is your ex, whether to come back for the sake of the children, you guys have to work it out. If this is an ex and you already moved on, you're dealing with this with your new person, and then like understanding, because sometimes also those who are dealing with an ex, and I feel those, it's for males who are here on my channel and it's an ex, you have to explain to your new person that this ex, you know, just has to go through things, and you're accepting and not engaging in these conversations with them to create more problems within your new relationship as well. So again, we're on this Four of Swords. So a need to ground, Four of Swords, Queen of Pentacles. Again, nurturing yourself here, Eight of Swords. Avoiding I feel the frustration, again, because this is right under the Six of Wands. That's clarified by the Five of Wands, and finding some ground, common ground, and understanding each other versus being in conflict. And I feel like this time apart helps you ground yourself and kind of see where maybe there are parts of ourselves that are blocking also what's happening, or just not trying to see the other side of it. Right? And then here with the Three of Pentacles, you know, I need to work it out and kind of see a different light or different perspective, which we have here with the Hanged Man. This is going to require kind of diving deep and understanding things from a different perspective. So give me more of this Three of Cups. Yeah, I mean, that was extremely fast. So communications coming in, Two of Cups, Page of Wands. So clearly there will be a conversation. Like I said, a lot of you, it might be a reconciliation. I really feel a lot of you, it's a conversation. A lot of you are going to get together, whether it's for dinner or a phone call. I feel like this, for a lot of you, it's going to be a face-to-face conversation, because it's just going to feel much better. And this is really to talk about the events, and really, I really feel the face-to-face, because I feel like you both want to kind of show empathy for each other. I just feel very empathetic energy. Okay, more on this Empress. Yeah, I mean, there's a guarantee of a gathering here. Empress with the Three of Cups and the Page of Cups, another conversation, emotional exchange, communication, and a gathering, because again, you hold this person in high regard, and you know, there are parts of you that do want to see and understand. You know, again, Eight of Wands, communication, to talk about everything that's been happening, or the deep stuff that just needs to kind of be talked about. And like I said, there goes the Lovers. You know how I said the 6-6 always reminds me of the Lovers, which means the connection, but also the decision needed, necessary to, and this is why we saw that very soon earlier, where clearly decide what you want. So there's a need to talk about the depths of this energy, of what's happening, the emotions. I feel a need of empathy here, and you can only have deep conversations when you have a level of compassion towards each other and the dynamics of your person's past. For those dealing with a person who just has a past energy, your ex who has an ex with a past. For those of you who just have a family with your person, and you know, it's like we've got to we're bumping heads here and not really trying to see eye to eye. And for those of you who are still choosing just to be alone and kind of make a decision here, may not want to get back, but are understanding towards this person and just kind of owning your own truth here. So let's see what the blockages are, Spirit. What are the blockages? Yeah, lies. Pay attention to the signs and their actions. And pain, the first step is to acknowledge the pain. I think this is exactly what was happening. The bumping heads here, that's why these are not kings and queens for a reason, you know. And I think a lot was said, which is why the Ace of Swords is here, where truths, no one's being authentic and honest about their feelings, and I feel hurtful words were exchanged here. So there's a level of integrity required. And that's why I feel for some of you, this is where some of you actually question whether you either want to pursue this or not. Because when you see that someone can own up to their emotions and then you mirror the same energy back, that puts you in a space of like, what am I doing to myself? But also we have to learn that we're also triggering an aspect of ourselves that makes us come down to that level versus rise above it, right? So let's see, let me see some messages and guidance about this connection. So what else can you say about this? What do we want to add for Scorpio, and how can we assist them? What can we give them? Yes, this is it. So guilt, right? Guilt, shame, deep remorse over past actions, and words are hindering this situation. This is what I'm saying. Like, I really just feel that harsh words were saying. So there is guilt here, which is why it's a little, Mercury retrograde was probably a shit show for some of you. And there's just a need to really rise above those words and accountability, because we have to own up to the things we say to people, right? Here we have parasitic, symbiotic. One party benefits while the other is depleted. Energy, support, and empathy are not equal. Oh my God, give and take needs to become balanced. Okay, this is what I'm saying. I'm telling you, I feel an empath here, because this is where I'm saying these energies, there's someone matching. So then someone in communication then matches, and it is depleting. So this is why I feel some of you kind of in this rest are finally finding some ground, and also realizing that, listen, the way we're communicating is really just depleting me. And so one person is left depleted while the other person is still in their wounded energy. And that's what I'm feeling from this. And then here we have new beginnings. Yeah, letting go, change, time to move on forward, risk, and opportunity. So I feel Spirit is really speaking loudly, where if these things aren't addressed, right, how we speak, the lack of empathy, the imbalance of meeting each other's needs, then some of you are going to let go and move forward and be okay with that. Some of you may just meet a new person. So some of you, this could be a dating situation, and you will actually meet a Libra, an Empress, or someone much more in alignment with you. This is why I feel for some of you, you may just decide to walk away from this. But because this is a general read, there's a lot going on. I can't really fine tune this reading and specifically, right? But some of you are going to start over with your person and take this risk. And again, the empathy is here. So someone's really empathic. So maybe there will be some, I mean, we have the sun, and I feel there is going to be an illumination here about what's happening. And clearly Spirit is saying there will be some forgiving and learning. And I feel that this person will see, you know, their faults too in how they contributed to what was happening. So let's see what the separation, let's see what messages from this separation. What are messages? This is deep, Scorpio, very deep. Oh God. This one, give me more. What other messages? Okay, so these guys. All right, so we have judgment. I'm making the decision once and for all to turn this around. So someone's making the judgment and really going to turn this around. I do feel that with the Nine of Cups and the ownership here and the Strength card, it's like judgment call. I have a perspective. This is what I think, right? I have given up on you, even though I have not given up on you, even though it may seem like that. I'm scared you will not accept me now. So yeah, the person who, for those of you, the person who's just gone through craziness are really realizing that they have issues they need to work on. And, you know, they're scared that you may not accept them, you know, seeing them, you see right through them, right? I feel like a fool for losing you. Again, that's that energy of knowing like I messed up, right? I hope you allow me to step up and turn this around. So there's a lot about trying to turn this around, right? And like I said, this person has to prove stuff. And I feel, Scorpio, you guys are owning that standard, that you're not here to be drained, you know, and if this doesn't really turn around for a lot of you, then you're gonna move on. You're not gonna, I do feel for some of you, it's that standard of like, this is not for me. So let's get some guidance for you, Scorpio. There we go. New direction. I mean, there's going to be a lot. Your higher self is calling you to take a new direction. This could be a new career, job, friendship, or even a new love relationship. This new path will lead you to your highest good. Trust it and just follow the road ahead. So clearly, if you guys are wanting to go to a new direction, Spirit is in support of that direction. And like I said, you're Scorpio, so you guys do resurrections better than anyone. You know how to turn that leaf quicker than anyone. And that's why I feel this strong energy, Scorpio, of making that decision for some of you and allowing the conversation, but also you're ready for your call, you know. Let's get one more guidance for you. Loss, yeah. You are allowed to mourn your losses and travel through the process of grief. So I feel there's cross watchers coming into this read, right? Those who are actually experiencing this energy, who are just the ones who kind of messed up. But you're allowed to travel through your process of grief, right? Past energies are part of the grieving. But like I said, what people don't realize, this is why I said the children, right? When I explained those who have exes, the next stage of the loss, the next stage of the grief has to do with when both of you move on, or one of you. So whoever starts to moving on, it's almost like a start over of the ending of the relationship. And now there's another travel through this process of grief and the response reaction of what happens with how they feel about you moving on. So that's a strong energy for that. But clearly there's a process of grief, of learning about their own emotions, right? Where we're back at, I'm scared you will not accept me now. Where they're realizing their own, you know, low vibrational ways, you know, their toxic patterns and maybe their pain and the things they haven't dealt with, right? All the emotions, they're unresolved emotions. So that's why Spirit is saying pain. The first step is to acknowledge the pain. So there has to be an acknowledgement of how we're behaving, right? If the patterns of how we're behaving is happening over and over with Tom, Jerry, Larry, and Lisa, Susie, and Monica, and you're the only common denominator, then we need to address that, right? And sometimes people aren't ready to own that, and that's why now they get into this fear where they'll feel that now that you see them, you won't accept them. So Scorpio, this is why I give my readings. For that person who doesn't understand what I do, this is why I have to do what I do. So I do it out of love, and seriously, I care. So I'm sending you so much love for those processing this. This is a lot, but I feel confident, Scorpio, you guys will get through this. So please like, share, subscribe, click that bell button if you enjoy my frequency. But remember to live always relentlessly and striving aspiration. This is the evolution of your soul, and I'm here to nurture you. Until next message. Bye.